Same-sex marriage should be recognized throughout EU, court says. It sparked a whole new conversation about the Polish constitution. Once again, it's on the table. Article 18, it does it actually. Maybe I should actually say what the Article 18 of the Polish constitution says, that as a relationship between a man and a woman, marriage as a relationship between a man and a woman is under the special protection of the state. That is basically what point 18 says. And it is an article that is open to a lot of interpretation. People more to the right will say it actually defines marriage as only being able to be a man and a woman, and it clearly rejects the possibility of any other marriage being on the table. People more to the left will say no, actually it does not define anything. It just states that this particular type of marriage is under the special protection of the state, and that it does not exclude there being any other forms of marriage, nor does it exclude those other forms of marriage also being under some sort of protection. And I'm leaning towards the more left-leaning perspective on this discussion, of course. But what is happening right now is that just as Poland is struggling to be able to pass even a simple civil union bill, suddenly and just unexpectedly, the European Union has decided to step in, or rather the court of the European Union. The EU's highest court ruled on Tuesday that same-sex marriages must be respected throughout the bloc, and rebuked Poland for refusing to recognize a marriage between two of its citizens that took place in Germany. I assume this ruling will also, the ruling is also supposed to apply to Hungary and all the other countries that are anti-gay marriage. The court said Poland had been wrong in not recognizing the marriage of the couple when they moved back to Poland, on the grounds that Polish law does not allow marriage between people of the same sex. It infringes not only the freedom to move and reside, but also the fundamental right to respect for private and family life, the court said. So now Poland has two alternatives. Poland can either agree with this ruling, which would de facto mean a legalization of gay marriage in Poland, because in order to be legally married as two gay people, all they would have to do is go to Germany for a few days, get married, come back, and we're legally married here now. So that would be, in practice, that would be a legalization of gay marriage in Poland. And the alternative is that Poland will say, well, we're sovereign, we have our own judiciary branch, we don't care about what the EU's highest court says, and we're gonna just ignore it. In which case, the European Union will probably introduce some sort of fees, sanctions, or punishments, which we'll see if the current Polish government will go that route. If the Polish government will say, yes, screw you, you can try to punish us or pressure us all you want, but we're not going to agree to this. Those are basically the only two routes that Poland has before it. And I honestly do not know which route Poland will go with. I have no confidence in speculating and trying to predict what Poland will do. I'm more willing actually to believe that Poland will just reject the European Court's decision, even under the current coalition. In predominantly Catholic Poland, the struggle for LGBTQ equality for years was branded by those in power as a dangerous foreign ideology. However, the current government has been working on a bill to regulate civil partnerships, including same-sex unions. The EU Court of Justice made the binding ruling at the request of a Polish court, handling the case of the men who had contested the refusal to transcribe their German marriage certificate in the Polish registry. The couple, who wed in Berlin in 2018, have been identified only by their initials in the case. A lawyer for the couple declined to comment on the ruling. EU citizens have the freedom to move to other member states and to have a normal family life there and upon return to their country of origin, the court said. So, yeah, that is basically the European Union stepping in and saying you have to respect this sort of marriage. When they create a family life in a host member state, in particular by virtue of marriage, they must have the certainty to be able to pursue that family life upon returning to their member state of origin, which again means the de facto legalizing of gay marriage in Poland. It's not a direct legalization. You cannot get married in Poland, but it still means that there is a legal way for your gay marriage to be recognized in Poland, which is close enough in my book. The court said this did not require member states to allow marriage between people of the same sex in their national laws, which actually becomes insignificant. If a country has a very close by neighbor that does allow it, then people will just go to that country for a few days, as I've said, have a nice wedding, come back. And now I'm legally married to my fiancé. But they are not allowed to discriminate against same-sex couples in the way they recognize foreign marriages, it added. Prime Minister Donald Tusk's pro-European coalition government's work on pushing through the bill on same-sex unions has been held back by resistance from his conservative coalition partner, and of course by a veto by the president. Poland's nationalist President Karol Nawrocki has also said he would veto any bill that would undermine the constitutionally protected status of marriage. And there's, of course, been a lot of arguments between Polish people on this matter. I don't know what will happen. I honestly do not know what will happen with this, and I, as always, am not very optimistic. As always, I remain... Poland is a very, very bigoted country. I think it's worth noting. I feel like it's worth remembering that Poland is, I think, the most bigoted country in Europe when it comes to the LGBT. I think it's even worse than Hungary. So even if the current coalition is not far right, even if the current coalition is more positively predisposed to the LGBT community, it also represented this very centrist, very weird way of approaching politics, of trying to feel out how society feels about certain things, to feel out how to mold policy to please as many people as possible. It was very visible with Trzaskowski and his campaign for president. That is one of the reasons people speculate why he lost. It's because he was trying to cater to some groups. He thought that the polls and that public opinion is swaying in such a certain way. So in certain ways, he was trying to be more right-wing than he should be. And people just did not see him as sincere. They saw him as a person who just flip-flops depending on in which direction the winds blow. And I'm afraid that this might be the approach that the Polish government will take with this, that the wind is not exactly blowing in a direction that would be very good for a gay marriage. And therefore, the Polish government might just say, yeah, we're just going to ignore this European Union Court's decision. We're just not going to abide by it because that is not what our society wants, and Polish is a sovereign country, and the European Union membership does guarantee us a judiciary branch that is separate from the European Union. So we decide on our things on our own, and we've decided no gay marriage. There you go. As in, we're not going to recognize even those who have married abroad. I'm worried that this will take place and that no matter what sort of punishment the European Union chooses to enact on Poland, because of that, Poland will just, again, ignore it. Under the Law and Justice Party, Poland had received many penalties, many punishments, and it just ignored it. It just powered through it and didn't care. And I'm kind of worried this is exactly what will happen now. I am not super hopeful, but we'll see. Maybe we will end up in a situation in which very soon gay marriage in Poland will be de facto legalized in practice, even if it will not be legalized directly in Poland, if that makes sense. Okay, we did a short thing on gay marriage.